Are you looking for the new cozy game that won't take forever to complete? Then A Short Hike is a game for you. You will complete quests, play sports, complete races, do some fishing, and of course, hike to the top of Hawk's Peak. I 100% completed A Short Hike. Before we get into the game, please subscribe and like the video for more 100% videos. Let's get into it. We start off in his cabin by the sea, and we're going to head on over here to Ranger May for a chat. She gives us a few instructions on how to play. She then informs us that the reason that we haven't gotten any calls is because there's no reception down here on the beach, and we need to go to the top of Hawk's Peak to make a very important phone call. That's the main goal of this game, is to hike to the very top of Hawk's Peak. But it's not as straightforward as it may seem. We're going to encounter loads of different NPCs who may have small quests for us to complete for them. Like this girl here on the beach. She's looking for me to find her 15 shells in total. Now those shells are scattered all over the map, so it's going to be quite the adventure to pick all those shells up and locate them. Once we're done with the dialogue, we can see that there's a shell here right at the edge of the water, so we're going to pick that up. Just a bit further down, I run into a friendly lifeguard who gives me a compass. On the beach, I also find a chest. Inside, I find just a small bit of money. Next thing, I'm going to talk to this frog here, try to convince him to give me his shovel. I'm going to tell the frog that smaller shovels exist and they'll be much better for building sandcastles. But the frog tells me that if I can find a smaller one, he'll trade me his big shovel. The one that he has is just too big for building sandcastles. However, it would be perfect to dig holes with and find treasure. As I continue on down to the beach here, I run into a few rock climbers. They asked me if I wanted to join the rock climbing club, which consists of 2 members. This fact seems to upset the squirrel climbing the big tower. The squirrel claims that they have hundreds of members spanning over 35 countries. Despite that though, I decided to join the club, and in return, the rhino says he would teach me how to climb. He tells me I need a golden feather, which I can get from the visitor centre. I'm going to head on over to the visitor centre here now and purchase my first golden feather. The more golden feathers that we have, the longer we will be able to climb and fly all around the map. I'm now going to head back. I'm going to let the rhino know that I now have the golden feather and I'm ready to learn how to climb. He tells me how to do it, and I climb up the first tower pretty easily, and then I'm going to head on over and tackle the bigger tower. According to the little squirrel, the big tower is only for real pros, but to be honest, it doesn't look too challenging to me. I head back down to the rhino who tells me that I need to jump from the small tower to get to the top of the big tower. This seems pretty straightforward. I climb back up the small tower and jump across to the big tower, and before I know it, I'm at the top. The rhino also lets me know that with golden feathers I can also fly places, but it will use up more stamina than climbing. I now have the ability to climb walls, so it's time to move on and continue my journey to Hawk Peak. Just around the corner I spot something glimmering on the top of the rock. As I approach it, I realise that it is a second golden feather. I'm going to pick that up and my stamina will now last a little bit longer. Over here by the water I find my second shell, so I'm going to pick that up and carry on. And as I follow the trail, I spot a pink plastic toy shovel, along with another shell. This will do perfect for the frog back on the beach. Surely the frog will trade me for my small little shovel for his big one. Now that the frog has given me the big shovel, I'll be able to dig up spots to reveal treasure. I'm going to head on back over to where I've seen the dig spots, and from this I get some gold, which is nice. On the edge of the cliff here, I come across an artist, but I also spotted a little chest behind a tree. I open the chest and I take the coins from inside it. I'm going to head on down to the artist. I'm going to have a chat with him. He says he's painting an abstract version of the coastline, and he tells me he's going to go on ahead now to the lighthouse soon. Maybe he'll be there when I stumble across it. I am quite sure that the lighthouse is not very far from here. After finding another dig spot, I can now afford another golden feather from the visitor centre. I'm going to head on down now and purchase another golden feather for 50 gold. This will be our third golden feather so far, and the last golden feather we can buy at the visitor centre. We'll have to find the others somewhere else. I'm then going to head back towards the frog on the beach, and it looks like he made very good use of that shovel that I traded him. And would you look, on top of one of the sandcastles, it's another golden feather. At this point, I decide to start heading up the mountain to try to reach Hawk's Peak. As I climbed up the mountain, I came across another little chest, and just past that, another golden feather in the bag for us. With another golden feather in the bag, I decided to cross the river, and as I do, I come across the artist again. The artist asks me what I think of his painting, and I told the artist that I thought the painting was really good, and it seems to be better than that of real life. He must be one really talented artist. The artist then tells me that he is going to follow the river up to find its source. Maybe we will cross paths again on my adventure up the mountain to reach Hawk's Peak. Just off the fork of the road here, I found yet another chest. Inside, there was a golden feather, very nice indeed. I decide to try and fly over onto the top of the lighthouse. This is an ideal place to find some goodies, and I'm right. At the top, I find a chest with another golden feather. I'm now going to head on over to a small island I spotted in the distance. I decided to try and climb to the top of the mountains, as there's surely something worthwhile at the top. I can just about make it up with the golden feathers that I have currently. When I reached the top, I received a silver feather. I'm not quite sure what the silver feather does, as it didn't add anything to my total feather count, but I'm sure we're going to find out eventually. Back from my little detour now, I start heading towards Hawk Peak again, and as I do, I find a steep cliff with a tough kid standing beside it. I decided to have a chat with him, and he tells me that he can sell me golden feathers for 100 coins per feather. This is double what we were getting them in the visitor centre for. But he was thinking ahead, and he brought all of the golden feathers from the visitor centre. This means I had no choice but to buy all of the golden feathers from this little duck. This brings me to a total of 8 feathers in total, which is not too bad for the moment. Once we were finished dealing with that tug kid, I ended up taking yet another detour. This happened on many occasions, as there's always something interesting that would catch your eye. This time, it was what looked like a tennis court. I couldn't help myself but head on over. The guy here tells me that he's going to play beachstickball. So I head on over and pick up this stick to have a game. My first goal is to volley the ball 10 times in total. This was pretty straightforward, and I got it on my first attempt. As a reward, I got another golden feather. Next, the goal was to reach 30 points. Now, this was not as easy as getting 10. Eventually, I developed a strategy where I looked at the shadow the ball was casting, rather than looking at the ball itself. This made it much easier, and after a few minutes, I hit a max of 35 hits. As I received over 30 points, I got a special reward. It was a baseball cap, and I also got the first trophy of the game. There are a total of 12 trophies in this game, and I'm going to collect them all. I decided to keep travelling down the coastline to see if there was anything interesting before heading back on my mission to get to Hawk Peak. After a few minutes, I came across a little hut where I could rent a speedboat for 100 coins. A trip out on the open water seems like good fun, so I asked the guy if the speedboat is available to be booked today. He tells me it's free. 100 coins seems like a lot, but since I had the money, I decided to take it for the spin, and I received the motorboat key, and I also received a boating manual. Now this gives instructions on how to operate the boat. I'm going to head over now and find a kid lying in the dirt. He says he's bored to death, and all he wants to do is go for a ride in the motorboat. His father, however, says he's too young to go alone. To be fair to the kid, it does seem to be pretty boring here for the child. He is here stuck on this little island with no other kids or any real activities to keep him occupied. He also doesn't seem too interested in helping his dad out either. Maybe if business was a bit busier, then he'd be given loads of jobs to do. According to him, His dad is the worst dad ever because he wants to keep him safe. I think I'm on the dad's side there though. He does look a little bit too small to bring the boat out on his own. Be nice. I asked him, does he want to come with me for the ride? And he is over the moon with the suggestion. Before I know it, he hops right into the front of the boat, waiting patiently for me so we can begin our adventure. We jump onto the boat and off we go. We head off into the open water and push the boat as fast as it'll go. The kid is super excited with how fast we were able to get the boat to go. The kid says his dad never let him go that fast. Then he informs me that he has set up a little challenge for us, and do we want to have a go? I said why not, and we head on over to start the challenge. We head off on our challenge and we try to go as fast as we can. He says we have 2 minutes to finish the course. We have to pass through each of the checkpoints in the correct order. We swerve here through a very narrow gap, and right up ahead is a ramp. We floor it towards the ramp, we get some crazy airtime. But after we land, we realised that it has damaged the boat. We try to start the engine and the boat starts making some really strange noises. The engine is not starting for us. I try again and luckily this time the boat starts. With the boat damaged, the little kid starts to really worry that his dad is going to be upset with him. He is also afraid that the boat is going to sink with us on it. I reassure him that there's no way the boat is going to sink and it just needs to be fixed. He then thinks the boat is going to explode. This kid does seem to have a very active imagination. And the big reason for this is because there's something in the motor that doesn't sound right. So we decided to go and head back in towards the shore so we're not stranded out here in the open waters. We go and search for someone to be able to repair the boat, and luckily we came across another boat with a captain. I tell the captain all about the weird noises our boat is making, and he says boats make all kinds of noises. He agrees to help us out and he will have a look to see what the problem is. Once the captain has fixed our boat, it's time to set off once again. With the boat fixed, me and the kid are going to jump straight back on. But guess what? The kid wants us to attempt his challenge again, but this time without the use of the ramp. We say yes, and off we go. But he does tell us this time that there will be an extra rule. With the new challenge, we cannot hit any rocks or he will penalise us by adding in an additional 10 seconds to our time. That sounds fair, as we have only just got the boat repaired. We do not want to have to go back to the captain and ask him to fix it again, because we were messing around. Luckily this time, there was no ramp in the water, so there's no chance of a repeat of what will happen earlier. Unfortunately, on my first attempt, I did hit a rock at the very end and I was penalised for 10 seconds. I finished the race in just over 1 minute. As a reward, the kid gave me another golden feather, which was really nice. We are now up to 10 golden feathers, which gives us another trophy. However, our completion time was not good enough to get the trophy for the boat race, so we had to give it another go. This time we managed to complete in under 45 seconds, which was really good. We didn't hit a single rock, which gives us not a scratch trophy. I'm back out exploring again, and I find another golden feather here on the side of a cliff. From my experiences so far, golden feathers seem to be most commonly found in hard to reach places. This seems to be a trend, as a few minutes later I find another golden feather on the side of another cliff. I came across this little lake where I found a bucket. I'm going to fill the bucket up with water and I'm able to water this sprout. When I do, it turns into a giant flower. Now this isn't just any ordinary flower. We can use this flower to spring to new heights. It's going to send me straight into the sky here. Now that I have a bucket, I will be able to water all of the sprouts around the island. This will make reaching Hawk Peak far easier. The only thing about the bucket is that when it's full with water, you can't fly or climb as the bucket's too heavy, but you can still glide. Up here in the snowy area, I spotted another sprout. I'm going to use the water from the hot spring and water the sprout. At this stage, we are nearly to the top of Hawk Peak, so I decided to keep on heading up towards the top. I start off here in a little hot spring. When you're up high and it's cold, your feathers begin to freeze. This means they will not regenerate if you land. The hot spring will allow you to be able to use your frozen feathers again. I fly on over and begin to climb the wall, and once I reach the top, I unfreeze myself and we have finally made it. There is such a fantastic view here at the top. It was definitely worth the hike up. Now all I can do is sit back and take it all in. It truly is a magnificent view. After a minute or two, we remember the reason we hiked up here in the first place. Cell phone reception. Hello? Hi Claire. Mum! I'm so glad to hear from you. I've been waiting all day to hear from you. I've been worried. Oh, honey. I told you I'd be fine. Yeah, but you always say that, and I always am. Anyway, how have you been? Well, I'm at the top of Hawk Peak right now. Ooh. Whoa, I love it up there. May and I used to go up every summer together. It's about time you made it up. Yeah, I know. You're so big now. My little girl's leaving the nest. You won't have any need for little old mum. But I do need you. I'll never not need you. When I heard about the surgery. How come you never told me this was a thing? I didn't want you to worry, but I know you get worked up about things. I could have been there for you. You're all alone there now. Really, it was nothing. Everything was fine. I'm just glad you're okay. I love you. Mum, I love you too. Wait. Something's happening. Was that the famous Hawk Peak updraft? Oh, looks like it. You should catch a ride on it now. Before it fizzles out. I wanna, but I'm kinda nervous. Claire, you can do it. I'll come visit you soon, okay? Also, don't forget to say hi to Aunt May for me. She's probably waiting for you back at the cottage. Bye. Love you. Love you too, Mum. After a lovely call with our mother, an updraft has appeared at the top of Hawk Peak. This can be used to give you extra flight to fly anywhere from Hawk Peak. Even though we've reached the top of our adventure, it is far from over. We still have a few additional trophies we need to obtain. First, we're going to head back over to this tough kid and we're going to buy another 2 golden feathers from him. We don't quite have enough to buy a third, so we'll have to go and collect just 19 more coins, and we should be able to afford our third one then. This will bring us to a total of 15 golden feathers, and I think there's about 20 golden feathers we need to unlock another trophy, so we're not too far off from obtaining all of them. I find another one here at the top of this tower. Once I obtain this golden feather, I start to explore more of the island to try to find all of the missing collectibles. During my current flight, I spotted another shell just down on the beach there. So I'm going to swoop straight down, pick that up, and just after taking off, I spotted yet another shell. So we now just have one more to go, and we will be able to return all of them to the girl on the beach. It was time for more exploration, and on the edge of another cliff here, we receive our 17th golden feather. And as we continue up the side of the cliff, we come to a little tower where once again, we encounter the artist. There's another little chest here as well, with our 18th golden feather inside. There's 2 more to go, and we should have all of the golden feathers we need. We head on over to talk to the artist. We are very impressed with his latest work, but he's not really happy as Outlook Point has been painted to death. We then reassure him that he has an absolute awesome art style. He tells us he's heading to the visitor centre, so we're going to follow him down, and on our way we spotted another sprout that needs watering. After watering the sprout, we talked with the artist for the last time. This time he's painting a portrait of Ranger John. We are seriously impressed with the painting. He has a talent for painting portraits. At the end of our conversation, he will give us our 19th golden feather. Using our golden feathers, we can soar through the sky and head back towards our cabin. Here on the beach, we find another sprout that we need to water. It's just here beside the bridge. I'm going to jump into the water and fill up my bucket. I'm going to use the bucket of water to water the sprout. There's going to be a lot more of these, so I need to keep my eyes open. And we're also going to have a chat with the girl looking for shells. Maybe now she will tell us why she wanted them. But no, she wants to keep it a secret. She does, however, have another job for us. I'd say, take the job, and she gives me a shell necklace. So this is where all of our shells went. She wants us to deliver it to Ranger May. So we're going to head back to the cabin, and we're going to find Ranger May sitting by the campfire. I hand over the shell necklace, and I tell Ranger May it's from Jen. Ranger May seems to be delighted with the necklace that we just gave her. I don't have the heart to tell Ranger May that it was me that had to go round and collect all of the shells to make the necklace. However, Ranger May gives us our last golden feather, giving us 20 overall. It's now time to complete some of the parkour races. We meet this bird who tells us that he wants to race, but if we want to participate, we will need to find a pair of running shoes. Now, in my defiance, I decided to give the race a go without obtaining the shoes, and I can always try locate them later if I'm having trouble completing the race. For the first race, we were restricted to using only 9 golden feathers, so we can't just fly straight to the top of Hog Peak. I can still use a few shortcuts by climbing up the sides of the cliff. Even after this, the other bird is right on my tail. Luckily, I have the flowers available to give me a boost up the mountain. And this is the trickiest part of the race. To try stay ahead, I have to climb the cliff here, but as I do, the camera turns, and if I'm not careful to stay to the left hand side, I will let go and fly back down to the bottom. This actually happened to me 2 or 3 times, causing me to lose the race at the very last moment. If you stick to the left hand side, the camera turning shouldn't knock you off the wall. Once you reach the top, we just need to fly up to the peak, and that's our first race won. All we have to do now is wait for the other birds to reach the peak. And once they do, they're amazed that we won the race, and we are rewarded with a medal. After the race, I head on down to Meteor Lake. At the lake, I found a guy sitting here on the bridge fishing. What is a cozy game without a bit of fishing, right? I'm going to have a chat with this NPC, and he gives me a fishing rod. I know it's time to fish. I sit down beside him and cast my rod into the water. Soon enough, I get a bite. I reel in the fish and I manage to catch a big northern pike. I'm glad fishing is quite simple in this game. Next, I decide to spend some time trying to water as many sprouts as possible as I find them. There's a total of 27 sprouts located around the island. To achieve the rarest achievement in this game, we need to water all 27 sprouts. I spent a lot of time trying to locate all of the sprouts. I eventually lost count of how many I watered, but I'm definitely missing just 1 or 2. I'm not going to worry about it though. I know I'll find them while I'm off doing my adventures. I'm sure the ones I've missed are going to be in an obvious place. Up in the mountain area, I run into a fox who says he's struggling to reach the top of Hog Peak. I offer to lend him 6 of my golden feathers so that he is able to climb to the top. As I've still got 14 golden feathers, I'm going to take a short cut up the side of the cliff. After a few moments, the fox manages to make it to the top of Hog Peak. He is so grateful to us for giving him 6 of our golden feathers, he offers to take a picture of us. We strike a pose and unlock the achievement Photo Friends. And of course, he also returns our 6 golden feathers that we still desperately need. It's back down the mountain again and it's time to take part in the second parkour race. This one is way shorter than the previous one and all we need to do is reach the lighthouse first. This time we can only use 3 of our golden feathers. However, this one was quite easy as I completed it on my first attempt. After the race, it's time to do what I've been putting off, fishing. While the fishing in this game is quite easy, I'm still a little rattled from the fishing in Traveller's Rest. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. It was a very good game, and you'll definitely enjoy it if you're a fan of Stardew Valley. Back to this game though. I'm now going to spend enormous amounts of time trying to catch all of the fish that can be caught in this game. Here on the beach, I caught a big spotted brook trout, followed by a common carp. I went back to the captain to sell him all of the fish I've gotten so far. Any fish I catch multiples of, he won't give me money for, but he will give me bait for the fish. As you can see here, trying to catch the rare fish, I caught a lot of common carps. For each of these, I'll be rewarded 1 bait, which will help me catch rare fish. While looking for lakes to fish at, I came across another guy who was camping in the woods. He tells me he lost his favourite watch and it's very sentimental to him. I better keep an eye out to see if I can bring it back to him. After more time fishing, I'm back at the captain to sell all of my fish I've caught so far. You can catch different variations of the same fish, but he will only give you money for the first one. I think if you catch the big version of a fish, he will give you 2 bait. After trading away all of my fish, I go to my fish journal, and I only have 3 fish remaining to catch. Very exciting indeed. The first of these is a pumpkin seed fish that I caught in this little lake here. I also caught an albino crayfish, and the last fish I needed to catch was the burbot, which can be found in fast running water. Now it is time to take part in our 3rd and final parkour race. This time we're limited to only 5 golden feathers. All we need to do for this one is try and stay close to the mountain and head left around it. Once we passed the waterfall, we were able to climb off the cliff and find the abandoned building. All we need to do now is climb to the top of the building, try not to fall off like I just did, and touch the pole at the top. Only after finishing the race that I spotted the flower that could have saved me time. It would have sprung me up to the top of the building. It doesn't matter though, I still won the race, rewarding us the Parkour Master Trophy. After my little detour to complete the race, I'm going to head on down to the captain on the boat. I give him the last 3 fish that I collected. Once this was done, we have now completed our fishing journal, and he rewards us with a golden rod. The golden rod makes much rarer fish easier to catch. At this stage, we have nearly all of the trophies collected. There's just a few outstanding. Just to collect all the feathers, now we have all 20 golden feathers, but we only have 1 of 2 silver feathers. We talk to the tough kid again and he tells us he's looking for money for his tuition to college. He's looking for 400 gold to pay it off. If we want to 100% this game, we will absolutely have to give this NPC 400 gold in total. And we do just that. We had 685 gold to spare, so we're going to hand over 400, and as a reward, we are going to get another very important item that we need to accumulate even more trophies. The wristwatch. He was going to sell the wristwatch online, but because we've been so helpful, he gave it to us instead. This has to be the wristwatch that the camper lost. We did promise to return it to him, so that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to fly back down into the woods here and return the lost watch. As a reward for finding the watch, the camper gave us our last silver feather. This means we've collected all of the feathers in the game, giving us one of the remaining trophies. I decide the next trophy I'm going to try to get is the one for watering all of the sprouts. I just have one left that I missed at Meteor Lake. Once I water it, I receive the green thumb trophy. At this stage, we've only got 2 trophies left to get. Both of these are pretty easy, which is why I left them to last. Bit of a treat. The first trophy is to eat a slice of toast. To do this, we head on back over to the visitor centre. If we look here on the notice board, it tells us the history of jam on toast, and that it is tradition to eat it at Hawk's Peak, and you need to join them at 5 PM to enjoy the dish. We head on over to talk to the ranger, who tells us he's out of strawberry jam, but he does give us a slice of toast. The thing about this trophy is it has to be 5 PM in real time to activate the quest. Once we received the toast, we're going to now eat it. Go to our inventory, select the toast and eat it. This awards us the crispy trophy. After a very long and eventful day, it is time to get our last trophy. And this one is to simply return to our cabin and go for the nap. And there you have it. We have now completed 100% of a short hike. This was a nice and relaxing game, and it was a nice change from the likes of Stardew Valley and other games like that. If there's any other games you'd like me to 100%, leave them down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. A huge thanks to all of my channel members. Thanks so much for supporting me, everyone.